The gathering is a chance for Indigenous youth from across the country to meet in Ottawa and speak with senators about key issues like reconciliation and education. The 8 youth involved in last year's gathering were from Quebec, Ontario, Nova Scotia, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC. And they got a chance to speak with senators about Indigenous youth priorities that included the importance of Indigenous identity, Indigenous languages and cultures, but also early childhood learning, education, and Indigenous representation with respect to land and sustainability. Their concerns were documented in this latest report, and senators say the youth's work will contribute to the committee's ongoing work on Parliament Hill. We recently spoke to Senator Michele Audette and Métis youth participant Breane Mahlitz. Here's that interview. Senator Audette and Breane, thank you both for speaking with us. Senator, let's start with you. Can you briefly explain how this latest youth gathering last year in October went, and what were some of the concerns the youth shared with you?
Parfait. So we had 8 youth from across, we call it Canada or Turtle Island, and they came from places with experience, but of course they share with us the Indigenous identity, languages, culture, education and representation, and the relationship with the land was concerned, but also with filled of many hope, I would say.
Now to you, Breane, how was your experience to be able to speak with the senators on a number of issues important to you?
It was honestly a really powerful experience. I still think about it all the time. Being in Ottawa in the Senate and speaking directly with senators as part of a committee process really made me feel like my voice was genuinely being taken seriously, and getting to also hear the other youth and their powerful stories. It's really stuck with me.
I had a chance to listen to some of the questions and appointments they stated, and it did get emotional at times. Senator Audette, as we said earlier, what the youth said is documented in this new report. Can you explain what will happen next with the youth's concerns that were communicated with the Senate?
One of the value that we have as Innu people, or I would say in general with Indigenous people, listening and hearing is very important. So it is also the mandate of any committee at the Senate, but knowing that we had the grassroots, the leaders coming from different places, now that we heard and listened, how can we implement to an amendment or a policy or a study that we will do, that we have now the voices and the message and recommendation from the youth, so we cannot say we didn't know about it, so we can add it to the work we do on a daily basis.
That's great to hear. Back to you, Breane. Is public office and politics something you're considering in your future after taking part in this event? And do you have any words of advice to other youth who are interested in this event?
Funny enough, since participating last October, I've taken the LSAT, and I just began law school this past September in a combined program in Canadian common law and Indigenous legal orders. So I can definitely say that being part of that experience gave me a really big boost of confidence, and it was one of the final pushes that helped me take that step. But I'm not entirely sure where my path will lead me. But I can say for other youth, my advice would be not to underestimate the value of your voice. I shared it in my testimony, but I'll say it again, that Louis Riel was younger than I am today when he began the Red River Resistance. And one of the other youth testimonies also mentioned that we're not only the future, but we're also the present. So I'd really want other youth to know that you do not need to have everything figured out or fit a certain mold to belong in these spaces. And I know I certainly didn't. So I still just remind myself that lived experience is expertise, and we deserve to take up space.
And don't forget about us when you pass the bar, Breane. We'll get you back on the show when you're a lawyer. Last words to Senator Audette. Can you explain how our country is so much more when we take the time to listen, including our Indigenous youth?
Well, the country is filled with many culture, different culture, but also the first people of this land. And when I say first people, there's differences also within the identity. And so for me, when we add this beauty or this expertise, we're also reminding this country we were there a long time ago and we are still here today. And believe me, we're here to stay. So let's do things together that will honor our ancestor and the people of today.
Tapway, well said. Senator Audette and Breane will have to leave it there. Thank you both so much for your time and happy holidays.
Tjinashka